So.
My name is Dan Clancy, or Daniel Clancy.
Okay. Thank you for this interview. We are honored to talk with you because you represent a lot for the streamers, indeed, and for the Latin America people. So we're going to have a question related with some philosophical stuff about everything. So do you believe the artificial intelligence will replace the content creators?
I love that question. No way, shape, or form in terms of streamers. I want to be clear about this. There are lots of challenges I think that AI can present for people in the creative space. I don't think AI is substitutional in any way, shape, or form for what happens on Twitch. In fact, I think it's the exact opposite. AI is going to be a tool that creative people use, just like all tools, right? If you're a creator, what you do is create, and when you create, you use tools. A paintbrush is a tool to express your creativity. A piano is a tool to express your creativity. And so AI will be another tool that streamers use to express their creativity.
Talking about the artificial intelligence as a tool, so can we expect more of these kind of tools inside of Twitch in the near future?
Yeah, so by the way, streamers are already doing this. I think there's this question of when are we the right people to make the tools, or when is the right thing that our creators, which is the foundation of Twitch, are going to be building upon generally available tools to do interesting, cool things. I was already, when I saw the launch of Google VO3, I was thinking, oh wow, I wonder how that could be used as part of a stream, just as a tool to do something interesting. And so we're definitely looking at what we should be doing, but as with so much that happens on Twitch, often our creators do stuff by using and taking advantage of general purpose tools that are broadly available, and then they use it within the context of Twitch.
Okay, so what is Twitch's long-term vision to ensure that creators or streamers of all sizes, from beginners to the largest, can thrive and feel valued on the platform?
Yeah, so one thing you talk about when you talk about creators of all sizes, so the biggest thing from when we think about the vision for the future is understanding that our core value proposition is community-centered live streaming. There are lots of platforms that add live streaming on top of their VOD platform or other things. And there's a real difference when what you do is focus just on live streaming. And I use the phrase community-centric live streaming because I think live streaming on Twitch is different than other platforms. And that's because the experience is built around the live experience to make sure that the viewer stays and spends time with their streamer. That's what builds the community, experience, okay? You talk about streamers of all sizes. One thing I do is I spend a lot of time with the community. I spend a lot of time with smaller streamers. And one of the challenges that smaller streamers have is they're trying to grow their community. And if I had a magic wand, you'd say, I'd love everybody to have a large community on Twitch. The reality is for any creative field, because we all love to create, by humans at our core are creators. The number of people that want to build a career doing it is always larger than the number that end up doing it. That's the very nature. When you think of musicians and singers, when you think of actors, when you think of artists, when you think of writers, right? That is the nature of the creative field. So it's always going to be a factor that there'll be people that are going to be, trying to grow their audience that may not be able to, but we constantly focus on trying to make sure we can do whatever we can to support streamers. And you see lots of new streamers coming up all the time. Most of our top streamers were not top streamers 3 or 4 years ago. Kai Cenat was not a big streamer 5 years ago. Queso was not, and when you think, so it's really important to help maintain that ecosystem of smaller creators growing and building a community.
Okay, Dan, for you as a CEO, what is the spirit of the essence of Twitch?
What is the spirit or
The spirit
essence of
of
Twitch?
also Twitch after 10 years.
So, the spirit or essence of Twitch, as humans, we all seek connection with other humans. We are biologically wired to do that. I think in today's world, in some ways, social networking is almost antisocial. Sitting and swiping on your phone doesn't necessarily connect you with other people. We're still yearning for that connection. And at its essence, Twitch is a platform that creates that connection or that sense of belonging. And as I said, that's because our platform is designed where you sit and spend your time for a while. Community is formed by shared interaction over time. I often say all of your deep, meaningful friends started out as light, shallow interactions. And that repeats and that repeats, and one day you have this person that you care deeply about. That's what happens with Twitch, and you see that here at TwitchCon, where you see the joy in people's faces because of the connections they've had with shared experiences with their creators. So at its core, Twitch is about belonging, and Twitch is about community and our need for connecting with other people.
Okay, my last question is, can we expect some kind of TwitchCon in Latin America or maybe China?
Not China, but I'd love to find something to do in Latin America. We're trying to figure out what is the right thing. TwitchCon is difficult because it's big, it's difficult to move around, it's expensive. Of course, if we did something in, let's say, Mexico City, that meets the Spanish audience, but of course the Brazilian audience speaks Portuguese, so you need to do something different there. We already try to have a fairly strong presence at some of the different conventions and conferences down there, and we're looking at what can we do to kind of service that community and bring them together. We're doing more gatherings within different cities where we go around, so it's something we're keeping looking at, and I'd love to find more ways we can engage with that community.